gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice and Dragons, we are going to be reviewing, what is it, Julie?
5 Minute Marvel.
It is published by Spin Masters and Wiggles 3D. It is designed by Connor Reid. Now Julie's going to tell you more about the game itself.
It's a cooperative game that is intended for ages 8 and above, plays 2 to 5 players, and plays in 5 minutes.
If you actually want to play like the full game, I would say that depending on how successful you are, probably about 30 minutes to get through all of the bosses. That's if you're good. It can be a little longer than that. Now, what you're doing in 5 Minute Marvel? Well, you essentially have a boss who's got a stack of cards. You have your own stack of cards. You're going to be revealing the cards while you're on a timer, playing cards from your hand to defeat those cards, and then defeat the boss. And it all must be done in how long, Julie?
5 minutes.
Yeah, so this is quick, easy to play. Julie and I have already reviewed 5 Minute
Dungeon.
There you go.
I was going to say, and if you've watched any of our past videos, you know that this made it onto the holiday buying guide.
Yes, so it did. And if you would like to see more about 5 Minute Dungeon, well, a card will pop up during the how to play because we did a full playthrough during that game. Well, during our review of that game, proper English, you know, and we're just doing an overview more for this game. That being said, Julie, what time is it?
Well, it's time to grab our drinks.
Grab your best friend or fellow superhero. Maybe a sidekick. She's a sidekick today.
Okay, we're going to take it to the table.
We're going to take it to the table.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time. Go Avengers! Wait, no, that's not it. What am I doing? Avengers Assemble! There we go. There we go. Now we're going to take a quick look at the components for 5 Minute Marvel. We'll start with the rule book, which is a nice, quick 4-page rule book. It's got everything that you need to teach you how to play the game. Now you can download a timer. It's one of the components that isn't here, but it does help stuff out, but you don't really need it. You can play with any old timer. Next, we'll take a look at the villains. We've got Green Goblin, which is the first boss. There are 6 bosses. All these are double-sided, so you can play the whole game in 30 minutes. After Green Goblin, you will face MODOK. After that, you will face the Red Skull, who holds the power of the Cosmic Cube. Next, Ultron and his army of fake hymns, or mini Ultrons, whatever you want to call them, will join the fray. After that, you must take on Loki, and then finally defeat Thanos, who wields the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. Now here we've got like the door cards, essentially the ones that you're going to be revealing, and then you must defeat. You'll notice that they've got different symbols. Those symbols are in here, and there's different types. There may be goons. We'll take a look at a few of them. Villains. So you've got the Abomination, Vulture. I will say I do love the art and stuff. We don't often get to appreciate when the game is only 5 minutes. Of course, you got Minions, Bullseye, whole slew of different types of cards that you will be facing. Now, there are also the Crisis cards. Now, when these are drawn, you must follow what happens during the crisis. You may have a card that can cancel it, but keep that in mind. Now, here, these cards make up the main deck. What you do, and we'll talk about this as we go into setup, but everyone's going to have a nice stack of these. And we'll take a quick look at them. Some of them may be upside down, but these are the symbols that you're going to be playing. You may have joint symbols with like the person running the lightning bolt, tech symbol. You can also get double of the same resource. So that's what is going to be making up a large part of your deck. Next, you have the different characters, and everyone's going to have one. So you can be Rocket and Groot, Medusa, Black Widow, Miss Marvel, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man, Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man, and as I just didn't have room, don't worry, for those of you that love her, she's here, Squirrel Girl. Now, each character has a special ability. They may discard 3 cards to trigger that ability. If anything injures them during the course of the game, you flip over to your injured side. You may not use your special ability unless you are healed. For example, Captain America may discard 3 cards to recover an injured hero. Now, you will not start with any cards from your hero deck, But as you play the game, you will have the option of either drawing from your main deck or drawing cards from your hero deck that may be more powerful, that are limited. For example, we get a nice double resource for Squirrel Girl. Take a look at some of the other stuff. You may defeat any card with a squirrel on it. While those squirrels pause time, so you can pause the timer as the game is time. All heroes draw cards until they have as many cards as you. So those are the types of things that you can see. For example, let's take a quick look at Rocket and Groot. You can count as any resources, recover yourself from injury. You may defeat any card with a lightning bolt. You can cancel a crisis. Counts as 2 resources or 1 resource. So everyone is different and will play differently. They all have different special abilities, like Widow's Sting, you can defeat a villain, a minion. Squirrel Girl was the mastermind. Hulk Smash means you can defeat the current mission card, but you become injured, becoming Puny Banner. Let's take a quick look at some of his cards. Lots of double fists. He can Hulk out to recover himself from injury. Can defeat a minion. If the next mission card is also a minion, defeat it too. You've got a nice chunk of variety with all of these different characters. So there you have it. We've taken a look at the components for 5-Minute Marvel. Now we'll come back at you with our setup and then teach you how to play the game. Now we're going to take a look at how we set up 5-Minute Marvel. Now we're going to start off by facing the Green Goblin, who is the first boss. We have picked our characters, Black Widow and Iron Man. Next, what we need to do is we need to divide this stack of cards up equally among the number of players. With 2, it's very easy. Just, make 2 stacks and make sure that they are about equal. You'll stack them next to your players. Try to make sure they're all going in the same direction, but it's not the easiest to do. And we're now ready to play. So Iron Man and Black Widow are both ready to go. We now need to set up the boss. To do that, we need to take 15 of the door cards. So we'll deal out that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 of these. We now add an extra one of these door cards per character. The rest are returned to the box. We also add a crisis card per character. You then need to shuffle this up. Don't want the crisis to stack together, so do your best, split them up. There you go. Into the deck. There you have it. You just need to take out either your phone, or your egg timer. Something that you can stop easily because you may get cards. Well, let's just take a quick look at Iron Man's stuff. So pause time. So you'll need something where you can potentially pause time. Now you want to make sure that you shuffle up your hero cards and as well as shuffle up the main deck. I've shuffled it up enough. It's fairly mixed up. So everything should be good. And now we are ready to get started with playing 5-Minute Marvel. Keep it right here as we'll be coming right back to teach you how to play. Now, how do you play 5-Minute Marvel? For those of you that would like to see a full round popping up, should be showing up right there, will be a card that will take you back to Julie and I's how to play and review a 5-minute dungeon where we go through an entire fight against the boss. In this case, the gameplay is very similar. We're just going to talk through it though and explain how you can potentially draw your hero cards. Now, when you're playing, this game goes up to 5 players. It tells you what your starting hand size is. In the case of 2 players, we will start with 6 cards. We'll draw the top 6 cards for Iron Man. Next, we'll draw the top 6 cards for Black Widow. Here we go. I'll just place these down in front here right now in such a way that they are easily visible. We're ready to start the game. You'd start the timer and you'd be ready to go. When you do that, you reveal the first card, and now everyone must play in order to defeat it. Now, when you play a card, we've got no lightning bolts here. It's no good. Now, in this case, you can play this card, which will only count as a lightning bolt. You can then draw another card. It is a minion. We need to get to that other lightning bolt. Now, you'll notice when I drew back up, I drew from this deck. Another option would have been to draw from our hero deck. Now, whenever you draw from your hero deck, just remember these cards aren't going to get replaced. There are less of them, and they don't always have resources, so they may or may not come in handy. Luckily, we drew a card for Goons. Actually, that's not lucky at all. This is a minion. We're in a tight spot. Now, the timer is going to be going and going. Keep that in mind. In this case here, Iron Man would discard, and I'm just going to place a discard off camera. 3 cards to draw 5 cards. 4 and 5. Now, Iron Man would play the card. We would then defeat the minion and reveal the next card, which is a villain. Now, I want to just make note of something here and notice that Iron Man has a total of 4 and 3, so 7 cards. I will not be able to redraw any cards until I go under my starting hand size. Now, in this case, take a look at the villain. Widow's got a few cards here, but not all the best. She can discard 3 cards, defeat the villain. We'd reveal the next card. Now, she would then redraw up to her maximum hand size. We need more lightning bolts, things like that. Take a look. Now, this is a good example. This counts for the lightning bolt and the shield. We now just need a tech. Iron Man has played all those cards. Remember, you're playing simultaneously, so it's very chaotic. He would then redraw another card, get the last lightning bolt, defeat the abomination, and keep going. Now, this guy's very easy. For example, we'll just say that, you could play stun darts, but a crisis is coming up. We would have Black Widow just play the 3 shields, redraw. We then reveal the crisis, which is different. So discard all cards with the red fist on them. So everyone must do that. It doesn't affect Iron Man, but we'll make sure he's got his 6 cards. Nope, doesn't affect him. Actually, it's smarter to take one of these. Pretty cool. Defeat a minion or defeat a mastermind. In this case, Black Widow must discard all the cards with the fist. She'd redraw the next 2. Reveal the next door, and continue. Now, once we've gone through the entire deck, heroes must then play these required symbols to defeat the boss and then win that game. After you defeat the first boss, flip it over, deal out a new set of doors. So you'll reshuffle everything, get your new doors, and take on MODOK and fight the second boss. So that's how you play 5-Minute Marvel. As you can see, it's an easy, straightforward game. Now Julie and I will be coming back at you with a review of 5-Minute Marvel. So 5-Minute Marvel. What did you think of the game?
Well, I really liked it. That's why I made it on my holiday buying guide. I enjoy quick games like this. There's a time and a place for them. I think it's fun to be able to just pull something out and play it. We can play a couple different rounds. It's not too difficult. So I really like it. Plus, I like that, it's Marvel.
Now, do you think that this is different enough from 5-Minute Dungeon to justify having both in the collection?
Okay, it depends. If you have as many games as we have, yes. If you're going to only have one, then pick the one that seems the most interesting to you. I'd probably pick 5-Minute Marvel just because it's Marvel. If you're into Marvel, then that's great. If you're not, then 5-Minute Dungeon is fun too. But I like being able to recognize who I'm playing with and who I'm fighting against.
Well, there are some slight differences to the game. Now, if you did watch the How to Play, that explained the differences between this and 5-Minute Dungeon. The one thing that you do have is a lot more distinct characteristics to your hero with your hero deck. And personally, I think that this is a better game than 5-Minute Dungeon. Now, if you're playing 5-Minute Dungeon with the expansion Curses that we have not gotten to review, then it does change the game significantly, and I think it gives more of a, descent into a dungeon feel. But if you're just comparing 5-Minute Dungeon versus 5-Minute Marvel, I think this game is better.
I have more fun with it.
Well, it's not just the theming. It's a hero deck, which is part of the theming, but every character has, their own hero deck, a lot more variability, and that I think is a big difference because when you look at what's going on when you're playing 5-Minute Dungeon, sure enough, you've got your colored deck. There are some specific cards, but you don't have as much in terms of difference. You've got 10 hero cards. It's far less in the 5-minute dungeon, unless I'm mistaken. If I am, feel free to correct me down in the comments below. But also the choice of being able to draw it from the main deck or the hero deck is something that I really like in this game. And I do prefer the theme. I mean, look, you can see my Avengers symbol. There's lots of Avengers in this game. And it's also not overly expensive. Depending on where you get it, you can find it on sale sometimes. I think it's a solid addition to the collection of any Marvel fan.
I mean, it's not, and we've had this conversation about other games. This is, more cartoony. It's definitely not stills from the movies. It's not the actors you're seeing. You're seeing, I would even say, a young version of the cartoons.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, I wouldn't say a young version, but it's definitely designed for a younger audience.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot of fun. I like the production value of this game as well. It's the card stock is good. The colors are bright. The cards are colorful. It's it's a lot of fun. And for me, like I said before, the fact that it plays in 5 minutes is really an advantage.
So we've talked about what we liked about the game. What do we not like about the game, Julie?
It's still a solid game, 2 players, but I definitely think it's more fun with more players. It adds to the chaos and it makes it more fun. I mean, with 2 players,
it's not a solid 2-player game. It plays well and it's entirely playable at 2 players, but it's not fun.
It's fun. It's just not as much fun. Okay.
It feels like a slog sometimes. Definitely just having 2 powers to, try to advance does feel like we played it and we lost because eventually it was just one of us constantly using our superhero power trying to find one card, and that just was dull. And the reason why I say it's not fun, as Julie pointed out, we have a lot of games, and we do have games that do play a lot better at 2 players, whether they're competitive or cooperative, that I would take out to play over this game. And that's why I say at 2, it's a little iffy. But 3, 4, 5, taking this out of the party, you're going to have a blast. When we took out 5-minute Dungeon, it went over very well. Last time we took out 5-minute Marvel, everyone had fun with the game. We breezed through it, and it's just a great play experience. So recommendation for me would be 3 players up. I don't particularly enjoy it at 2 players. Doesn't mean that if Julie says, hey, I want to spend 15 minutes playing a game, take out 5-minute Marvel, I'm going to say no. It's just if we're going to look at a 2-player game, I think this is going to get passed over every time.
Not every time. Depends on our amount of time.
Yeah, well I just said that.
Yes. I mean, so there's not much more to say about this game. I mean, I think it does what it sets out to be. It's not complicated. It's the age range reflects that as well. It's easy to play. It's for it can be for beginner players, and I think gamers enjoy playing it also as an intro game to other things. It's fun at a party, like you said. It's just a lot of fun and 5 minutes of chaos, and I really enjoy it. Yep. So then, what's your rating? For what this sets out to be, I definitely think it's a solid 7.5.
So for me, it's a 7. I can't give it the extra half point, just the lack in terms of 2-player gameplay. Now, I might be rating this lower than 5-minute Dungeon. It's been a while since we reviewed that game. I might have to actually go back and check my score. And if someone does remember what I reviewed it, you can definitely leave a comment below. And I will officially pin a comment and change it to be the same score. But that being said, this is a better game than just base 5-minute Dungeon, and I'd rather play this over that. And if you have to pick one for your collection, unless you're getting the expansion, just to reiterate myself, go with this version of the game. So what time is it now, Julie?
Excuse me, it's time to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we have new content for you.
New comments.
New comments.
Well,
that's because we're enjoying the new comments.
Well, if you leave a comment, well, YouTube should let you know when another comment or when we reply. Anyways, and with that being said, also down below in the video description, there are links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you want to see some pictures from 5-minute Marvel, well, there'll be a few of them up. Also, you can find out a little bit about what's coming on the channel, because every so often when we get a new delivery or a cool new game, we'll post some pictures as to what arrived at our door. And then also, there's going to be some links to previous videos popping up, our most recent upload, and then something that is related to 5 Minute Marvel. I think it should be 5 Minute Dungeon. That'll be popping up over there.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, so what time is it now?
Well, it's time to grab our drinks again.
Grab our sidekick and best friend.
Okay, keep playing games.
We're going to, yeah.
Oh, that's bubbly, huh?
It is bubbling. It's classic Coke. You know, it feels, it's holidays. Those ads with the panda, well, as a panda bear. I was meant to say polar bear. Polar bear, you know, always just touch the heartstrings. So yes, we're going to keep playing games.